Hey gang, sorry, I have to go down here. As promised, I'm making a video about how to do a very simple landscape. This is going to be a sunset type of a thing. I'm going to be using lots of purples and pinks and a little bit darker colors. I have a piece of paper. I'm just going to use very thick sketch paper, or any paper will do, and my palette. I also have my water and 3 different size soft brushes. Remember, watercolors require a softer brush. Acrylics can use the thicker brushes as well as oils, okay? So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to look at your page and basically look at, we're going to do thirds, all right? So the bottom third is going to be, say, the actual landscape part, where the top 2 thirds are going to be the sky, okay? So let's start. So I'm going to take my biggest soft brush and I'm going to start with some blues, actually, some nice dark blues. And I'm going to, again, start 2/3 down. You can add more water to just really stretch it out. Okay. Bring it over. Some more paint. More water. Okay. Remember, watercolors, for it to work in the sense of melding together, they need to be wet, but not soaking wet so much that your paper you can't work with it. It's going to rip because there's just too much there. Okay. So I've started with my blue. 2/3 the way down. All right. Now I'm going to do some purplish color. Just to give it that, that mauvey color that often the sky gets. So I'm going to take a purple here, water it down some, and again, just place it down on the page, and you can even overlap with the blue one as well. Okay, and add more water. And remember, with landscapes, they don't have to be exactly what your painting doesn't have to be exactly what is out there. You can do a parody or an abstract version of what that is. That's what I'm going to do here with this sunset. Like I said, it's simple, but it's effective. Okay, so let me show you the purple layer that now I'm going to mix in some all over the place too, but I'm giving the base layers of color to the sky. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a sort of like coral pink. Let's see how that goes. Add more water, and again, it's almost like a magenta color. It's very, very pink. But often the sky gets like that when the sun is setting. Those beautiful sunsets where you get a lot of pink in the background, and everything seems so ghost-like, like the trees, whatnot. Okay, so now I've done my layer of pink. Okay, now, or dark pink. So I'm going to now add a lighter pink to it, and then it's going to be like a peachy color at the very top. Let's try this. Yeah. So we're basically trying to lighten the color as we go up. We're using the same sort of cool colors. I mean, pink can be considered a warm color too, but depending on the shade of pink, I suppose, they could be both. Okay. Okay. So I've added my light pink, and it's darker in some spots, which of course the sky is. And now I'm going to add that sort of orangey beigey color, because you get those oranges as well in the sky. So I'm going to put those at the very top. Just say they're like representing the last rays of the sun before it goes down. Now remember, guys, you can use any color palette you wish. I'm just choosing this one. Remember, you don't have to do exactly like the videos we've seen or exactly like what I'm doing here. Remember, this is my version of something. I want you guys to consider your own versions. Okay, so we've done that. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bottom, okay, which is sort of like our grass, dirt, field, if you will. And I'm going to start with some brown first, okay, to give it some depth. I'm going to add some green on top afterwards. So basically, I'm going to add some brown down here. Remember, we're just doing the first layers, right, defining where we want certain colors to go. And there goes Bella with my husband's shoe. Crazy dog. Okay, so I'm just going to fill that in. Now, by the time I'm done the bottom part, okay, the top part is already dry, and then I can go back over it with other colors just to give it a deeper look. Okay, if you will. Okay, adding some more water, spreading that paint around. Because we want it to be a little more translucent than, say, the opaque that you get with the acrylic paints. And I'm sorry you can't see my face right now while I'm talking to you. This is my iPad. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the right angle where I can include both me and my paintings. So I wanted you guys to see the technique. You already see my face every day, so it doesn't matter about me. So this is what I've done, okay? So now I've got the ground. I've got the first color, okay? I mean, you can even see that the variations of that color, light and dark, just because of how I place the color on the paper and you get more paint. And so it gives you that sort of marbly look. So now what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to go over that orange with actually a little bit of orange, real orange, over that beigey color, just to give it some more depth. Okay. And I'm not putting it all over that. I'm just sort of having darker spots here and lighter spots. Like that. You can see the variation there of the orange. Okay. And I'm basically going to do the same thing with the others. So I'm just going to take the next shade down from it and really give it a boost. Make it a little bit darker. So the pink here, light pink, it's nice big streaks from the sky. Okay, and you can soften them up a bit. You can give them more definition if you wish. Okay, but we're just what we're doing is we're just layering on the different colors. So we want to have something that is akin to, you know, a sunset, and how the colors mix together, because they do often mix together. So you're just building it up now, okay? And that's what I want you guys to do. So I'm just building it up. Okay. Just building it up. Okay. Building it up. Maybe add a little few more darker areas just to give it like the clouds are the color, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So finished with that. So I'm going to now do where I put the purple, and I've got a darker purple here I'm going to use on top of it. Just to give it more, again, more depth. Okay. Ah, that's a nice dark one. And it's just, I'm just going to put some rough spots here. Just to give it that, with the brush strokes. It doesn't even have to be that precise, because remember, we're doing a parody of a landscape in that sense that we're not making exactly what a landscape would look. We're giving the impression of one. Okay, guys? That's what it's all about. Painting is taking your own ideas, right? Incorporating them with something that you've seen before and making it fresh and making it yours, right? Even if you can borrow ideas from other people, heavens, I do all the time. I mean, some of my biggest muses are Vincent van Gogh and Picasso, especially a lot of my abstract stuff. Picasso for sure. Okay, so again, I'm just building it up, guys. I'm just taking different shades of the same colors and just giving it, again, a depth. I'm going to show you when I finished here the sky, okay, so that you can see what I'm talking about. But you're literally just adding layers and brush strokes Just giving that feeling of clouds and the sky. And remember, you can blend one color into another and give it some more, again, more depth. Sorry about that, guys. Bruno is having a play fight with Bella, so my house is never quiet, guys. Never quiet. Okay, I'm gonna add even a little bit of red where the pink is, just to give it again a little bit more depth of tone. Okay, I'm just doing a very quick and dirty here, guys. Just I don't want to be here forever on the video, so you don't have to look at my face 24/7. So just giving you some starting points, okay? But I want you guys to use your own imagination. Take that imagination and play with it. You know, try different things. That's what art is all about, is experimenting with mediums and techniques and styles and finding your own voice in all that. See? So the sky has a little bit more depth, a little bit more light and dark. Okay. Now at the bottom where I put the brown, I'm going to add some greens in there and then a bit of brown again on top of that. But I'm going to add some greens because we want to show that there is fields there somewhere. There are fields. Okay. Again, just giving that a little bit of depth again with the different shades. And again, play with the shades, right, guys? It doesn't have to be the same palette. You can mix palettes, mix lights and darks, and see what depth you can come up with and what your paintings will come up at. Okay. And we just continue with a little bit more green again. Because we sort of want that like marbled green and browny look to make it look like it could be a field, right? Again, impressions of, not necessarily the realism to it, but impression of. The Impressionists, aptly named, they were named after the very first painting that Monet showed in the Salon in France, and especially Paris, and it was called Impression Sunlight, or Sunrise. And literally, that's the movement began with that, where they were putting the art world on its head. They were doing something different and unique, and the you know, the whoop-de-doos of the art world didn't know what to do with that at first. And then they started realizing that art cannot be art if it stays the same all the time. It has to grow and develop. Okay, guys, it has to go forward. Okay, going back, yes, learn from the past, but go forward, because there's just too much out there to learn and experience, and not being held behind with, you know, ideas of, oh, I should have done this, and maybe I'll do this because it was like this done before. And you know what? I don't want you guys to think of that. Okay, just be yourselves and do your own version of what that is. Okay. So I'm just going to keep adding a little bit more brown and green just to give it, again, more depth. And then I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of some trees in the back, some sort of improvised trees, if you will. Because they're in the background, right? So you want them to look like they're far away, so they're not going to be as defined as if you were doing an up-close tree. Like, you're not going to be able to see the leaves defined or even the trunks defined. What you're going to do is you're going to see impressions, okay, of the trees. It's actually quite nice and just almost therapeutic, just having the brush go along the paper and just seeing where it's going to lead me, you know. Bring a little bit more depth into the painting. Okay. Okay. And more green. like I said, you just sort of bringing out your ground here, the foreground. So in a painting, you have three areas of specific interest. You have the foreground, which is the very first thing you see at the bottom of the page or canvas or whatever it is that you're looking at. Then you have the midground or middle ground, which is about the midpoint of the painting. There might be something there to look at, may not. And then the foreground is the farthest away. Okay. So this one's going to be around the midground. Okay, so this is what my impression of the ground is. See all the different shades of browns and greens and whatnot. That big purple streak up in the sky. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a different brush, one that's more of a pointy one, like this one. You can point it up too. You know, doesn't have to be super skinny, but just enough that you can use some definition in. So the point should be pretty thin. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use black, and I'm going to create trees in the background, just, you know. Lines here and there, maybe a shrub or two. And you're basically right now you're just doing the trunks of the trees. Just a few trees, some trunks of the trees. Okay. And then you can add again more definition with sort of making little ideas of what leaves look like. So just dabbing the paint to make it look like leaves and branches and whatnot. Okay. And this is actually probably the easiest part. Okay. See? And then you want to just maybe put a little bit of black just underneath the tree as a little bit of a shadow of that tree there. Remember, because this is the water is going to reflect what it sees up on the shore, more or less, right? You want to give it a little hint of a shadow there. So move it around a bit. Yep. Give it like just a little thing. Okay. So something like that. You can see some darker, some lighter versions of the shadow. And guys, that's it. That is my impression sunset, if you will. Impressions of trees, what I think the sky would look cool as, different colors blending in together. The ground being more mucky, that's not the important area. The important area are the beautiful colors up here. So I emphasize them more like that. Okay. And literally, guys, that is the assignment. And you can use any kind of paper. Like I said, I just use sketch paper because I ran out of watercolor paper. See? Even I have to think outside the box and what else I can use, all right? Remember, I told you, if you don't have watercolor paints and you can't get a hold of any, you can create your own using food coloring. Okay, because that's all it is paint for food. So you can, and they're liquid. So you don't have to put a lot of water. You could dilute it a little bit more, but you don't have to, you could just use it right from the little package. And so it is, and at the very bottom, as every artist should do, is you're going to sign it. And you're going to put the year. Okay. Okay. Always at the bottom right-hand corner. So I have MSR, so Maria Sousa-Rovers, and then I have 21 as the year. And literally, guys, that's it. Okay. I hope you enjoyed making it. And again, I'm sorry that you couldn't see my face. I was creating this, but I wanted you to concentrate more on the painting more than my face. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with your different paints you're going to be using. Be creative, like I said, think outside the box in a sense of see what else you have around the house that could be substituted for something else. Okay guys, take care. Bye.